So okay, I don't actually hate Indian motorcycles, but Indian motorcycles and their riders have the thinnest skin. I'll talk trash on Harleys all day long. I mentioned one thing that I don't like about an Indian, and I'm a Harley fanboy for days. It's insane. Now listen, I actually like this bike, and I actually like Indians. Indian doesn't like me though. The local Indian dealership told me, threatened to sue me, and said he will never sell me parts or service any of my vehicles because of my last Indian video that I made right here. I like this bike, I do like Indians, although there's one big giant flaw with this bike, which I'm gonna show you in a little bit. Guys, this video was brought to you guys by Rokform. It is one of the best phone mounts, motorcycle phone mounts I've ever had. It does come with this awesome case, super durable. I throw my phone all the time, and now I need it, hold on. I abuse my phone all the time, no problems. The coolest thing is it's the easiest way, the most durable way to connect your phone to your bike while you're riding. You just snap it in there, 1/8 turn, and your phone is locked in. You can see your text messages, you can control your music. It is the easiest way, and it is the best phone mount for your motorcycle I've ever had. Go check them out at rokform.com and promo code Srkcycles25 for 25% off your first order. Now this motorcycle would be best compared with Harley Davidson for the Harley Davidson Ultra Limited. And then the Chieftain would compare to the Street Glide, and then the Chief Vintage would be compared to the Road King. And this is pretty much what all the motorcycle companies do when they're making a touring cruiser bike. It's three different bikes. A combination of front fairing, no tour pack, always have bags. You make that combination, there's only 3 different ways you can do it. That's the only type of riders out there, and then there's everyone else. Now, as you can see, this is a beautiful, beautiful looking bike. And there are a couple things that sets it apart from its Harley Davidson competition. Now, this is a 2015, and one of the coolest things, now the other companies, the Japanese manufacturers, the German guys have been doing this forever, but this has adjustable windshield. And if you've never had that, it makes the biggest difference in the world with how you can ride. You can take it up, blocks the wind on cold days, blocks the rain, and then when you want that wind in your face, bring it back down. Now this motorcycle was also designed in a NASCAR wind tunnel, where all this stuff is all streamlined and aerodynamic, but also it's got vents inside here that flip down and flip up. It also has vents in here that flip down and flip up to let more or less air hit you on the leg and hit you on the thigh. It also has a remote that controls all 3 of the bags that you can lock and unlock. And it has a humongous 111 cubic inch motor, which ends up being 1811 cc's. Giant power, which is air cooled and oil cooled. Now the Roadmaster does weigh about 30 pounds heavier than the Harley Davidson Ultra Limited, but with a similar MSRP of around $26,000. Now, as the old guys like to say, this bike has all the gingerbread. Let me show you. It's got your push button start, it's got cruise control, it's got all your radio buttons right at your thumbs, it's got heated grips, it's got chrome lowers up on the front, which is stock. You know, it only comes stock on the CVO Harley Davidsons. And it also has one of the loudest horns I've ever heard of on a motorcycle. Check this out. That's insane. I also like how the dash keeps it very simple. You know, a lot of bikes will have gauges all over the place. You know, 10 different gauges. This keeps it very simple. You got the main important things. Speedometer over here, tachometer, fuel right there, and then right in the middle you have your infotainment center that you can scroll through. It tells you everything else you need to when you want to, you know, see it. Now when you look at the saddlebags, they open up nice and easy, they fold right out. But a real cool thing they have is this Indian quick detach lever, so you can pop this bag off really, really easy without having any tools. And it's not really for the sake of pulling the bag out to take it in as luggage, but it's more for pulling the bag off easily for maintenance and for cleaning. Another great thing about this bike is the giant tour pack. Push that button, it's carpet lined. It also has, it's got Indian emblem embossed right on the carpet. And it's got a built-in from factory 12-volt power port. Now this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about being the worst thing about this bike is this giant, humongous key fob. Why is that so big? There's only 2 buttons on it. And it's the widest, fattest, I don't even want to put it in my pocket. I don't know, I hate everything about this thing. Now the fit and finish on this motorcycle is amazing. I think it's just beautiful. The casts look good, the weld look good, the frame looks awesome. But one of the biggest things I noticed was was, you know, it's the small things that you notice when you compare a luxury car to a cheaper car, and just how smooth the trunk closes when you close it. That sound of the seals suctioning in there, it just feels awesome. You also have this beautifully embossed saddle brown leather seat, which looks amazing. And then you got this strap, which honestly, I have no clue what the purpose of this strap is, unless the person behind you is gonna hold on to this strap while they're, I don't really get it, but maybe that's what it's for. Now your passenger, it's gonna feel nice and snug when you fold these things in there. And hey Caleb, yo, hop on, be the passenger, get all nice and snug.
Dude, there's so much room on this, bro.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yo, get all nice and snug. There we go.
There's so much room.
We can do a long trip like this.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. This is actually extremely comfortable.
Yeah, all right, get off my bike. So it's an absolutely beautiful motorcycle. It has already stood the test of time, and it will continue to be a modern day classic, even when it is an actual classic. But how does it ride? Let's go take it for a spin. All right, guys, before we do a test drive, let's do the words of wisdom. Romans 10:10, for with the heart a person believes, resulting in righteousness, and with the mouth he confesses, resulting in salvation. Amen. Let's take this beast. It really has been a long time since I've ridden an Indian. And they do have they are different. They're different than Harleys. I mean, that's obvious, but it is a completely different feel. And I do really enjoy riding these motorcycles. I don't know how, I know exactly how I got the reputation for not liking them, because of one video I made about it was just a, 10 things that all happened in a row with an Indian. You guys can check that video out. It's actually on the Bikes and Beards channel. Ooh, I'm a little low on fuel. This is an extremely comfortable motorcycle. Ooh, it's telling me I got 1 mile left. I better go get fuel. So something that a lot of guys will say is, they'll be like, well, Indians look good, but the quality's not there. That's just not true. Polaris is a humongous company. If you didn't know, Polaris is the most recent company who has revived the Indian brand. And they have a lot of money. They have a lot of money. They make an extremely nice product. They make great quads. They make great everything. And they put a lot of money in these things, and there's nothing cheap about them, to be honest with you. There's nothing cheap about them. You can say that about like when Indian came out in like the early 2000s, there was some quality control issues with them. Some of them were pretty good, some of them were just horrible. Some of them were really bad, and you need to stay away from them. And every time I almost try to buy one, I gotta go back and look it up. Is this the one that was the worst one ever? Like, just looking at this stuff, beautiful fit and finish is awesome. The chrome's amazing. Even the frame, even the amount of energy and time that they put in the frame, and having the Indian logo stamped right on the side of it is really cool looking. All right, just topped it off. Cost me 12 bucks. 12 bucks. It's not bad. Now you notice that there's two different fuel caps on this. One's over here. This one's, I don't think this is anything. This is nothing. They just do it for, those OCD people to make it more symmetrical. I get it, I guess. Wow. Now that 111 engine, it's got great power. Feels good, feels strong. It's got a good smooth rumble to it. You know you're riding a V-twin, but it's very tame. This is a throttle by wire system, and initially, when you're coming off, your idle, you got to give it a little more gas than what you think it does, than what you think you would normally need, or what you would on a Harley Davidson or another bike. It's just kind of a learning curve. You get used to it, but once you're cruising, feels amazing. And this thing's all stock, and I think it's perfect. I think it sounds perfect. You don't need to be any louder than this. If you want it to be loud, you know what I mean? It's making noise. But then when you want to cruise and it's nice and quiet, you know what I mean? Right here, I could barely hear the exhaust. I'm cruising down the road. The last thing I want to hear is my bike screaming, for 10 hours a day while I'm riding it. But that's not for everybody. And that's why, selling aftermarket exhaust is a pretty lucrative thing. Now it's a pretty sunny day. I can see these gauges fine. I would imagine that if the sun was facing the right way, it might be a little bit harder to see them. But these, I got my important gauges right here. You know what I mean? I got my fuel, I got this, I got that. I got the important stuff. But it is pretty well shaded inside there. I mean, it is very sunny. They also put very strategically a power port right back there, so if I did want to charge my phone up, I need like a 1 foot line. It goes right there, right to the power port, which I love. This thing handles well. It feels great in the corners. You know, nothing unusual. It feels just like a motorcycle, just like a big touring bike should. Let's go run out. Let's go do this here to 60. See how quick this thing is. See if that 111 is everything we hoped it was going to be. There. Man, what a nice machine. I'm gonna make sure these vents are open. Make sure that vent's open. Gives me tons of air blowing right on my shins. Let's try the cruise control. Press that cruise control button. A little indicator comes up there, and then all we do is press set. Bam, cruise control. Very simple. 2 buttons and you're rolling. I know cruise control doesn't seem like a big deal if you're doing short local stuff or you're always hitting all, you know, windy roads. When you're cruising on the highway, cruise control for long periods of time, cruise control is a lifesaver. I can rest my right hand. I can look at my buddy next to me and give him a fist pump. What up, bro? Let's try that windshield. All right, so right now I'm 6'2". Right now the wind's hitting me right here. If I put that windshield up, I hear no wind now. Before I was hearing it, it was hitting my helmet. Now none of it, absolutely none of it is touching my helmet. No buffeting, not that I was getting any before, but I don't even hear any wind noise. It's awesome. It is one of the coolest features. Every touring bike needs to have this. And then when you wanna feel that wind, bam, drop it down. Love it. Guys, if you're wondering, you're like, Sean, those gloves, they're so amazing. What are they? These are M1 Moto Gloves. I had these specifically made for myself. I ride a lot of motorcycle. I wanted to protect my hands, and I said, I want Kevlar in my glove. I want this whole palm, this whole thing lined with Kevlar. They were incredibly expensive to make, but we sell them for a very reasonable price at 120 bucks, only on our website, bikesandbeardsgear.com. Check it out. Guys, that wraps it up. I really do like this bike. I think this is a great machine. And I think we were selling it for just under 15 grand, which is, wow, a lot of bike for 15 grand and a whole lot cheaper than buying a brand new one. Guys, that wraps it up. Remember, it is not what you're riding, but where you're going. We'll see you guys later. I'm about to crush this corner. I don't want to drag the pegs. Yeah. Hey guys, if you want to check out the video that is the reason of why everyone thinks I hate Indians, go check it out. It's right over here on the Bikes and Beards channel. I got something else to say. Those numbers right there, which I thought was the range, no, that's the range, 176 miles. That's the gear indicator. So now I'm in 3rd gear. That's why I was switching and changing. All right, I get it now. Now you know, now we all know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.